speaking of motherhood, we had a conversation, right?
I was just about to go there. We really be like...
We had a conversation.
Yeah.
And since you're here, we try not to like have conversations carry on, but since you're here, right? Yeah. See a few women saying, why would they have this conversation without a woman present? You're a mother. Do you find yourself getting lost in motherhood? Like that being your identity?
That's deep right there. Yeah.
And how do you navigate in that space?
Doing things for myself. Like self-care. Like I was just telling you, like I love that my daughter does that. Mm-hmm. Because it's like taking care of yourself is where you can unpack the shit that you may be holding back. Excuse me if I'm not supposed to cuss. No, but you can go in there and be like, you know, like it's not everybody else. Get out of that whole habit of like the mind game. Because sometimes like I love my kids with everything in me. Sometimes I just need a moment where I can just do everything I want to do for myself. You know, and that's a lot of my recharge.
How do you find that space? How do you create that space? Not find it. How do you create that space for yourself?
Man, just knowing what you need. Knowing yourself well enough to know what you need. Like, when I start feeling myself get very overwhelmed, I make it mandatory. Even if my kids are around, like, we'll go to the pool. We'll go outside to the park. We'll go take a walk around the neighborhood. Whatever it is, like, a lot of my peace comes in grounding myself. Like, just not completely decompressing from the this has to be done here and constantly thinking about my structure, but just like letting myself flow. And I think that's created a healthy balance for me. So I don't want motherhood to turn frustrating. I don't want to be upset by it because I love it. It's such a defining factor about how great of a woman that I am becoming, you know? And I think one day it'll make me an even better wife. And so I don't want to attach any negativity or frustration to it. Like I find myself in conversations with both of my children's fathers where it'd be like, I got to show you something, going back to what you said. And it's like, it comes from coupled with, I'm carrying most of the burden. But I'm also in a space to where it is like, I don't want to have to continually remind you of that. I also don't want to have conflict because I'm not a conflictual person. I like to stay laid back. But when someone isn't invested in your household, a lot of times it's hard for them to see your perspective. And so the struggle with co-parenting is finding a common ground, is being your child. And it's like, this ain't about you. It's not about what you do or don't do, but what is the most beneficial for my child. And that's why I don't go long periods with holding on to them type of conversations no more. I know how to make peace with it quicker, but a lot of times it takes going into that safe space like you're talking about, like, and being at a place where I'm like, you know what, let me just recharge myself so I can think clearly. I'm not moving out of emotion. I'm not carrying no frustration. I'm not drowning in motherhood. Like, I don't feel like it's a burden. Because when you get to go back and forth with your co-parent, it's easy to see it. It's like, man, I do this, I do that, I do this. You don't see me. But it's like, I'll be having to go back to this is why we're together. And that's okay. You didn't see me.
Damn, so we had a conversation. This conversation came from a space. We were talking about moving forward, right? And I was telling my friend that the next person I'm with, I want that person to have their own thing going on outside of motherhood if they're a mother and outside of being a wife, because I feel like in those moments, if you're just fully immersed in being a mother and a wife, it's easy to look at me about what I'm doing and my passion and my purpose and get jealous of that. Because it's like sometimes you would look at it like, well, what about me? All I'm doing is supporting you. I'm supporting our children, but what about me? And I was telling my friend, I'm like, I want somebody who already knows their purpose or even knows what they're like so I can support that so they don't look at what I'm doing and be angry at that. Right. And that's how we got into the conversation of like, I feel I empathize with mothers who get lost in motherhood because I'm somebody who not going to get lost in fatherhood because I know my purpose. And I'm going to always be a good dad. I'm always be there to show up for my daughter. But I also understand that if I don't show up, if I don't show up for myself and my purpose, I can't even be the best dad to my daughter. Yes. So I want to be with somebody who understands their purpose. Or again, I don't want to say purpose because I know it takes time to find your purpose, but understand what they love and what they're into, so they can take care of that, and I can, I guess, help drive that as well, so it doesn't look like conflict between us. Because now you're just mad at what I'm doing, I guess. I'm
glad that you mentioned that last part because I was gonna add that in as an additive, like. For me personally, I resonate with that heavy. Like, that's something that I haven't had in previous situations as much, to where it's like you support what I do outside of you the same way you you support me as a mother or as a partner who's supporting you in your dreams. Like, support me in that side hustle, you know, that I have outside, you know, and because that might be where my purpose really is. Like, I might be good over here in these arenas, but like, support that, because ultimately, like you said, same way for you, it's like your purpose is going to make you better for your children, just the same way as it'll make you better for your partner,
Exactly.
the people, the rooms that you enter, the people that you impact. Like, so being supported in your purpose is a key, essential component to having a healthy relationship, especially when you're doing things of a certain caliber. Like, we can both be great, but let's be great in every arena.
Mm-hmm.
You as my partner, you as a father, me
Yes.
as a mother, you know what I mean? And then also, too, like, me as the creative that I am. Whatever it is outside of these four walls, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact, 100%.
Do you feel like motherhood is a purpose? Like,
It's a part of your purpose. Like you said, like, going back to what you said, it was like your purpose is who you are, not what you do. And so motherhood is something that I do that's a part of who I am, you know? And so I don't want to let me being a mom be my defining factor. My motherhood is definitely significantly important to the way that I care and emit love, which makes Big Energy what it is, you know? It's something behind that. It's just something to it, you know? But it's not a defining part of, like, this is my purpose. It's just to be somebody's mom.
Damn.
you know, that was good because I think it was a clip, obviously, so people take it out of context and things of that nature. But what our friend was saying last week was just like his next relationship, the woman that he is with wants them to love motherhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to love motherhood so that. And he kind of compared it to, like, podcasting. It's like, we love podcasting, and we could do it 6 hours a day. Yeah. And even if we do it for 6 hours, it's like, we might get tired. We might need breaks from time to time. But
it don't feel like it, though.
It don't feel like work, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, when you have somebody that, what he was saying was, like, when you have somebody that doesn't love motherhood, it may feel like it's correct me if I'm, it feels like it's a job, you know what I'm saying? And it's straining. So, we just wanted to clarify that because, again, a lot of people did reach out and just like, you know, you should have a woman to talk about that. So you offered a very unique perspective because one thing that you did say specifically is that, like, I love motherhood.
Yeah.
I don't want it to become a burden.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't think about when he said it then, I thought it was a great point, but still, one thing that I didn't think about was we choose this thing.
Yeah.
You don't choose to be a mother. Well, I guess you do, but like,
in certain situations, it feels like motherhood kind of chooses you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in different ways. Because, like, some people don't have kids, but they're still a mother or they're still a father, you know. So it chooses you in different ways. So that's why I said it's like, it's something that I'm very good at, you know. And I think trying to make it my purpose kind of made me stray away from actually doing it well. Because I was so much pressure. Like, I definitely have become a better mother having both my children now. Like, adhering to their needs and the differences in them has made me humble myself in a lot of ways. I enjoy it though. Like I said, I don't want it to become a burden. So that's why even going back and forth with a co-parent, if you do that too frequently, it will become a burden, and then it'll feel like you're drowning, and then you're going to have pent up aggression and animosity towards it. You know, sometimes you don't mean for it to come out on your kids, but I've seen it in various different situations. You know, where it's like, and then kids on the brunt end, you hear them later talk about it, and they're like, "Man, you hated me so much." But it's like, so I'm very cognizant of that. Like, I don't want my kids to ever have that experience. And so I'd rather just check myself. Like, you know what? This is part of what I do. I'm very good at it. Doing that has helped even, you know, the back and forth sometimes can go into talking about the thing that's most important to you. So, oh, yeah, you don't do this or you don't do that. It don't even be no sweat off my back because it's like, look at the material. My kids are excellent. They excellent individuals. They're doing big things. I'm proud of both of them. And individually, they're going to bring so much to the world. I'm confident in that. So it's like, what more else do I have to prove? Like, it's right there.
You know, we often have this conversation about, like, accountability. And a lot of times we feel frustrated as men sometimes because, in the masses, it's like women don't take accountability. But, you know, something that you said it like 4 or 5 times in this conversation. It's like I had to humble myself.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, like, what was that? Were you always like this, or was it like a turning point in your mind where it was like, all right, nah, I need to humble myself for the greater good or things of that nature? Because I feel like there's a disconnect, and you have a lot of conversations of men saying like women need to take accountability, but here you have somebody. And again, I don't know what you are day to day. You could be saying anything on this podcast, but I'm gonna take it at face value and everything that you're saying. And you're taking accountability in understanding, like, all right, no, I needed to humble myself. Sure. So, like, what was that turning point for you?
Accepting that I don't have control of things, being willing to acknowledge, like, I'm human, people are human, and so, like, it's moments where I feel like I want to nut up. Would it be like? The result of that is not something that as a person really fulfills me. So I'd rather just be humble. So to answer your question, like, I've watched in so many situations, my mom in particular, she is like one of the most beautiful people that I know. Like, in essence, everything about her, the place that she come from, like, and it's crazy because when she watched this and she sees this, she always said, I'll never talk about her on a podcast. But we're in a different place now, and I'm grateful for it because my mom doesn't know how beautiful she is, and that's why some of her course of actions have been what it is. But the one thing that I learned about her is that when she stopped responding in a certain manner and she just like went away in peace and let things be what they are, it taught me so much how valuable it is because she like emits her light different now. And so in observation of that, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to give to my daughter. I want to give, like, I used to always tell my mom, like, Mom, just let that go. Just let that go. When she started letting stuff go, bro, like, she just became different. Like, so we're different now. So I know from her experience, that's why they always say you should learn from your parents. Like, you might not always learn the blueprint of exactly how to do it, but you can kind of get a glimpse of what certain things look like, what the result of certain things are. Not saying that she didn't do well with what she was dealt, because that gave me perspective, too. Is it's like, if I create a different structure, I can have a different result. And so now, as me and her have conversations, I have to tell her all the time, like, you're one of my biggest influences. Like, it may not be what you think it is because you're in self-doubt, but, like, you're doing a great job. Like, look at the material.
Look at the material. That's fire. Nah, man, I think this is definitely a great conversation. I do want to move on towards the, we got to get to the shits.
Yeah.
Terrible takes and things like that. But I think that was definitely a great conversation. I want to say we should have more of these conversations, but we have a lot of these conversations. I think the world should have more of those conversations.
I think, we're about to get to the shits, but I think, like, the core of it all matters, though. And I think that's a point that if everybody could get to a place where they understand that, like, everybody's not going to understand you, and that's okay, we'll be in a much better place. And I think that a lot of times we're fighting a battle that doesn't need to be won. Like, you're fighting a battle that doesn't need to be won. You're just literally exhausting your energy for something that, like, or I'll flip it, actually. You're fighting a battle that's already won, because if you're already validated within yourself, then you've already won. So I think that's also what I think a lot of people, if we get to that place of understanding, we'll be in a much better place.